Hi everyone, I'm Emily Jaleski. Welcome to my weekly art chat show live here on Instagram. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. I'm an artist based in Central Florida where I live with my husband, our teenage son, and our elderly dachshund named Jack. I also work full-time outside the home, so I don't always get to spend as much time making things as I would like, but it's something I'm passionate about, so I've made an intentional choice to include it as part of my life. When I was in elementary school, my art teacher told me I wasn't good at art. I believed her, and I spent many years avoiding any kind of activity that I thought was creative or artistic. It took me until I was married with a young child at home to reconnect with my creative side and to learn that artistic ability is not measured by how well you can draw something. I realized how much joy making things brings to my life, and I've never looked back. That was in 2012. After over a decade of making art as a hobby and developing my own skills, I recognize how important it is to provide encouragement to others, to cheer them on, and to help them reconnect with the things that bring them creative joy. These art chats are a way for me to discuss subjects like self-care for creatives, the evolution of an artist's voice, and learning to be vulnerable in sharing your work and gifts. I'm so glad you're joining me. The first thing I want to share with you is that my 2023 Christmas ornament collection is now available on my website. I know it seems a little early. It felt early for me too, but I wanted to make sure they were done with plenty of time for shopping and shipping. Each ornament is an abstract landscape between 3 and 3.5 inches. Here's a couple here. They're on wood slices with velvet ribbon, and they'll be signed on the back and dated and sealed with varnish for protection, so you can have them on your tree for years to come with beauty and joy. You can visit emilyjaleski.com/shop to purchase. That's emilyjaleski.com/shop, and it's the same spelling as my Instagram handle here. The main thing I wanted to talk to you today is about ways to build your creative confidence. So I have a little disclaimer before we get started. I'm aware that there's a book called Creative Confidence by Tom Kelly and David Kelly, but I haven't read it. I don't know if any of my ideas here will coincide with what they've written, but if they do, it's not intentional, it's a total coincidence. If you've read the book and you're familiar with it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and how it compares to what I have to say. So my plan for this chat tonight is to talk about what I think creative confidence means. I'll also talk about my experiences and my struggles, and I'll give you some of my best tips for ways to boost your own creative self-esteem. So, first of all, what is creative confidence? That can mean a lot of things to different people, but to me, creative confidence is having the courage to create the way that comes most naturally to you. The things that move you, the reasons that you make, the colors you're drawn to, the subject or messages that you're inspired by. All those things that you gravitate toward are the things that make up your own unique voice, and that has value. I think that creative confidence is the resilience to keep going despite setbacks, in the face of the unknown, and in times of uncertainty. It's the ability to stay focused on your own plans and goals and your voice and style, even if those don't align with what other people around you are doing. It's being able to trust in yourself and your capacity to adapt and overcome. I think that confidence in your creative abilities is something that can be learned and improved and developed, but it's not necessarily something that can ever be truly conquered. No matter where you are in your creative development, you're still going to have days of triumph and days of struggle. That's normal. It happens to everyone. And I think that's in large part because using and sharing our creative abilities requires a lot of vulnerability. And that's whether you're sharing it with other people or not. Even if you're only doing things for yourself, showing up and doing the work to dig deep inside yourself, to learn about yourself and the things that are important to you and the things that you want to express, that takes vulnerability also. Either way, a lot of our creativity comes from our innermost thoughts and ideas, and those aren't always something we're comfortable talking or thinking about. We are afraid of rejection and of criticism. We're afraid of being seen as too much or not enough. We fear that people will see inside of us to who we really and truly are. And sometimes that's the scariest thing. It can be really easy to second guess your own work, to downplay the quality, and to hide it away so that no one ever sees it. In my experience, this is just a self-defense strategy to try and protect yourself from showing that vulnerability or having to face those things. The reality is that we are our own worst critics, and the truth is that other people have a different eye than we do. They don't necessarily know what we were trying to achieve. So while we're harsh on ourselves because we didn't fully capture the vision that we had in our head, they don't necessarily know that. They don't have that difference in expectation versus reality. So they can see the beauty of what is there, even when we can't see it ourselves. Unfortunately, even when you're aware of this, it can't always keep you from falling into that trap. Again and again, almost every time I post something, I have to bolster myself, to bolster my own confidence. I have to talk myself into sharing a piece of art that I don't believe is good enough. Some of the things I've been most apprehensive about sharing have received the most positive feedback. Maybe that's because I'm not allowing myself to be vulnerable. Perhaps I don't have a good concept of what people think is good art. Or maybe I'm just insecure in projecting my own perceived shortcomings onto how I think other people will see what I've made. Over the years, I've come up with a few strategies that have helped me be more confident about making and sharing my own art. First and foremost is the importance of practicing and putting in the work. With anything you do, you're not just naturally going to be good at it. The saying, practice makes perfect, has become a cliche for a reason. You hear it all the time. It's unrealistic to strive for perfection, but the more time that you spend working and honing your skills will go a very long way to helping you improve and being better and having more confidence as a result. It's okay if you mess up. People don't seem to tell you that a lot. But making a mistake isn't the end of the world. Most of the time, and at least, you have the option to start over, depending what it is that you're doing. You can rip out a seam if you're sewing. You can, ball up your piece of paper and throw it away. If you're writing, you can delete a document on your computer if you're writing electronically. In terms of painting, you can usually paint over the bits you don't like or just scrape them off. And in the process of doing that, your work will have more depth, texture, and interest. And you'll be able to, through the course of trial and error, you'll be able to get better and to find processes that will help you work better and work faster. So whatever you're doing, be bold and just embrace the risk. Reframe what you think is a failure and see it as a stepping stone instead of the end of the story. Make art that might be bad on purpose. Experiment with different mediums, different subjects, color palettes, techniques, and materials, because this will push yourself out of your comfort area. Part of being confident is simply being familiar with what you're doing. And again, that kind of goes back to the concept of practicing. Those two tie in together. Excuse me. It's also important to allow yourself to develop a relationship with a mentor or a teacher. There are so many people out there who would love to serve, to encourage others, and you don't have to navigate this alone. You don't have to learn by yourself. Being self-taught is one thing, but being completely alone and trying to evolve and grow and develop in a vacuum just isn't realistic. There's nothing wrong with working with a mentor to receive guidance, because that's what they're there for. There's someone who has a greater field and depth of experience than you do, and that's a really good way to grow and to become more confident in your abilities. Learn to trust yourself and to have patience. Believe in yourself and nourish your spirit. That's kind of just a follow-up, but it's also important because as you're working through those other ideas, just be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace, and just be tenacious and keep going even when you're discouraged. And sometimes that's going to mean that you have to step away from what you're doing and take a break for a little bit, and that's okay. That's part of the process. If you just keep working and getting more and more frustrated, it's just going to be harder and harder for you to reframe and reset and have a good attitude about what you're doing. Lastly, and this is kind of the hardest one, I think, sometimes you just have to get over your fears and share what you're doing. Most people are not going to, or rather, most people are going to admire you for chasing after what you love. They're going to be really impressed because it's most likely something they aren't able to do. They're going to want to support you and cheer you on. And if you're online or on social media, it's really easy to just delete what you posted if you decide you're not comfortable with it. It's, the wonders of technology. It's amazing. So those things do take time and practice to implement them successfully, but maybe some of them will be helpful for you. I hope they are. I want to really encourage you as well to embrace your own voice and your own style. I want you to have faith in yourself and to learn to be comfortable about sharing what it is that you do. Because when you don't share the things that you have made, you're depriving the world of your work and of the impact it might have on others. You never know if what you do could influence someone else to try creating or following their dream. and you're shortchanging people who are hungry for any kind of beauty in their lives. That's all I've got for today. If there's something else you'd like to hear me talk about in a future art chat, I'd love to hear it. Let me know. You can leave a message, or you can leave a comment below, or send me a DM here on Instagram, or you can go on my website, and there's a contact form on there that you can fill out and send in. Again, that's emilyjalewski.com. So make sure you're following me here on Instagram to get notified of future episodes. You can go to my website to get to join my mailing list, and then you'll be the first to know about any new art collections, behind the scenes information, local events, inspiration, and more. So I will see you guys back here next week. I hope you have a great day and a great week. Bye.